My staff doesn't know this, and I'm going to tell you this. I had a football player that had a heart condition when I was coaching in Finlay. And I'm going to tell you that it was the scariest couple of years of my coaching career, because he was cleared to play. Now, I don't know if it was the same condition that you're referring to. I really honestly don't know, and I'm not sure. I was told that if it had a big, long medical term that we just heard, I would have had to use the initials. But we had a deal. If he's feeling tired more than normal, he knew the symptoms himself. And so we never questioned. Because, first of all, the kid, he was a great football player for us. And he wanted to keep playing, and I really talked to him about doing other things. But because we monitored it so closely, he was able to have a successful high school career. And then he decided high school was where he wanted it to end, and didn't go on and play at the college level, which I think he could have. But I think he got what he wanted out of it. I know that I was lucky to have that relationship where a student could understand his heart condition symptoms and could explain that to the coach, and then the coaching staff could take that into consideration. So when it got to running exercises, or if we were doing contact drills or scrimmaging, if he were tired, that was it. And there were no questions asked, and he was never ostracized, because he was kind of the hero of the rest of the team, that he was doing this with that condition. So I always remember that. And when Lindsay came to the office and we started talking about this, and we talked to others, and you'll hear more about that here in a second, that story popped back into my head, and I thought, well, I'm so glad that that communication was there, that we knew. Unfortunately, there's some that don't have that communication with coaches or whoever, or things haven't been diagnosed. And so we have to look at the symptoms, and that's what this legislation is about. So I'd like to continue. Along with Lindsay, this issue was brought to my attention by an organization, and this is the one I was referring to, by the name of Simon's Fund. In 2005, Phyllis and Darren Sutherland created this organization after they had lost their own child to sudden cardiac arrest. Sudden cardiac arrest, and people don't understand this, is the number one cause of death of student athletes. And approximately 1 out of every 100 kids has an undetectable heart condition, which is shocking. Because I think of the thousands of kids I coached, that means I had to have someone I didn't probably know. Fainting during exercise is the number one warning sign of sudden cardiac arrest. And when somebody faints in football practice, the first thing that many coaches used to do was question the kid's condition. Is he really able to play this game? Is he tough enough to play this game? And these were things they could think of. Unfortunately, that's what happens. And 72% of parents reported it, and I think Lindsay referred to that their child had shown symptoms of sudden cardiac arrest prior to dying. And because of the wonderful work done by Simon's Fund and other areas in the state and in the United States, the stats here say that 45 students have discovered unknown, potentially fatal heart conditions. And I think back to some of my heroes back in the day, like Pistol Pete Maravich and some other people that had heart problems and was never diagnosed, and we lost them. And I just can't imagine losing somebody because we haven't taken the time to learn more about this. So sudden cardiac arrest impacts people of all ages, including our student athletes. And as a former coach and educator, I realize that if we raise awareness of this often preventable condition, lives could be saved. And currently, I think Lindsay mentioned this, 9 states have done it, 4 are pending. And this is a chance to employ simple, common sense measures that will save the lives of our student athletes. And it's budget neutral. I mean, when you come up with something that's budget neutral, people really smile a lot around here and throughout the state. And when we did the roadshow, this came up, and we had an incredible amount of support everywhere we went. When this was the point of our agenda, we were discussing some of these items. Sudden cardiac arrest, there wasn't anybody that came in and testified like, well, you're sure you want to do this or not? So, as you know, I've traveled across the state, and I've done this roadshow, and our already stated, there just wasn't any opposition. This is ultimately about raising awareness. So that coaches, people who are with our student athletes day in and day out, can recognize these symptoms. And it's so important that they understand what they are. The legislation would require, and I know that's what you want to hear, that before the start of each athletic season, a school hold informational meetings for all parties involved about the symptoms and warning signs of sudden cardiac arrest. Coaches would complete sudden cardiac arrest training every 3 years. You may ask, I'm pretty sure, and I'll look over here, it's about an hour on tape, right? One of the ways of learning about this is there's a video that's available, free, and it takes about an hour. And I think it's more than worth an hour of your time to learn these symptoms. And a student will be removed from activity by the coach if symptoms are shown and may not return to activity until evaluated by a physician. I think that's the pattern that we use for concussions and what have you. And also certified by a nurse and cardiologist, which is very important. The individual school authorities would set penalties for violations. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made great strides in the effort to protect our children as they participate in sports and activities that they love. This legislation, similar to the increased awareness surrounding concussion risk, will ensure that sudden cardiac arrest is properly identified and addressed. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions for me,